What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel, and we're here with the predictions for UFC Saudi Arabia. We're back in the sands land, we're back in the fucking desert, and we're going to be going through this stacked fight night card headlined by Israel Adesanya versus Nassourdine Imavov, with the co-main event of Michael Venom Page versus Sharon Magomedov. We got Pavlovich Rosenstrike and a bunch of other fun fights on the card. It's lost a couple fights. Meniz versus Ikram Alaskerov got cancelled. Abdul Karim El Salwadi was first fighting Jordan Levitt. Jordan Levitt got stoned before he was able to enter the country, so he's out, per sources. And then Balazs Yoki stepped in and then pulled out. Maybe there was another fight that got cancelled, I'm not sure. But yeah, a couple cancellations, but ultimately the three big fights, I should say, at the top of the card have stayed together. So we're going to be predicting every fight, starting with the early prelims, or the first prelim, ending with the main event. And yeah, let's get started with the prelim opener. This card's gonna take place starting at 1 a.m. Australia time. So, European MMA fans, I finally know what it feels like. I mean, I've had to go through it a bit with the London cards and the Abu Dhabi cards. They always start real early, but I'm waiting for the US fans to have to fucking deal with a 5 a.m. main card start time, and then we'll see who's the casual fans in the fucking sport. Anyway, let's start off with the prelim opener. So, first fight on the card, you got this fat Arab dude, Hamdi Abdul-Wahab. Am I tripping, or does it look like he's had plastic surgery? I'm not bugging. This dude looks like he's had facial surgery done on his face. Like, oh, what's going on with this dude's face? It looks weird. And then we got Jamal Pogues, who is the definition of a fucking level 5 crook. Just an NPC fucking black random heavyweight. Used to fight at middleweight. Typical heavyweight archetype. Used to fight at middleweight. Fucking fat, obesity maxed up, 60 pounds, and now fights at heavyweight. Pogues is pretty quick though. He's got a bit of a snappy jab. You know, you get the outside movement, you know, the outside foot battle. You know, you guys want more outside foot battle analysis. Everyone says, left lane, you don't even do proper prediction breakdowns. You don't even watch tape. And I'm like, yeah, why the fuck would I watch tape? Why am I going to waste my time watching Hamdi Abdul-Wahab tape when I could just look at the two of them and just be like, who's less fat? And it's a difficult one to predict, you know. We need to get the BMI calculator out. But ultimately, I'm going to go with Jamal Pogues. I don't rate the fact that Hamdi's been out for like 2 years. Yes, he did beat Don'Tale Mayes in his only fight in the UFC, which is a decent win. You know, Don'Tale Mayes is like probably in the better end of the unranked heavyweights, I would say, which isn't saying much. But he got suspended. He got popped for roids. And when you got popped for roids as someone who's already fat, that's when I'm like, alright, what's going on? And then he got popped for roids again while he was serving his fucking suspension. He got popped for exogenous testosterone. So I'm going to be picking Jamal Pogues. I'm not picking you if you pop for roids as a heavyweight when you're already a blob and now you're going to be off roids. Yeah, so Hamdi Abdul-Wahab, I don't know. I'm also not picking a man who looks like they've had plastic surgery. So I'll go with Jamal Pogues. He's stayed relatively active. He's got the UFC experience. And if you can keep it on the feet, I reckon he'll do good work. That being said, though, Hamdi is from the region. So again, the bias judging is always going to be a factor. I was tempted to just pick every fighter from the region, every Muslim fighter or every Arab fighter on this card, and just be like, yeah, they're going to win via plot armor, via judging. Fucking Abdul Wahab Ali is going to fucking be judging the fight score at 30-27 Abdul Wahab when he lands 12 strikes and 1 takedown. So it's a difficult one to predict. We're going to get those judges that were fucking judging the Renat vs. Carlos Leal fight. They're going to come out in full force for this one. Anyway, that'll do it for this fight. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, another pretty coin flippy fight on the odds. We got this NPC looking fucking Sean Strickland pre-evolution, first evolution Pokemon Sean Strickland, Bogdan Grad. And then we got Lucas Alexander, who got chinned by Jeka Saragi. That's not a good look. So one of these guys, what's his name? Bogdan Grad got chinned by Tom Nolan on Contender Series. Lucas Alexander got chinned by Jeka Saragi. Neither of those are good looks. Tom Nolan's been thoroughly exposed as an absolute fraud. He couldn't even finish Alex Reyes. So yeah, if you're getting finished by a guy who couldn't finish Alex Reyes, that's not a good look. Alexander, though, I will say I do think he's better. I'm going to pick him to win. The odds on this are very close. Grad was like a minus 150. The odds have tightened just because I think people have kind of picked up on the fact that, hang on, just because this dude went to war on Contender. Like, in my opinion, if you're going to war on Contender Series, like, okay, cool, it was a fun fight, good job, you got heart, clearly, you got power, you got some pop, you know, you can stay in the fight, you got grit. So I will give him the chin advantage here, because he was taking some big shots on the Contender Series compared to Alexander, but like, who did get chinned by Jeka Saragi. But Jack, if you watch that fight, that was the flukiest fucking KO. That was not an actual KO. Like, it was a KO, but it was like Alexander got up from a scramble, stood up to his feet way too quick, and just got caught on the break from, like, as he got up. Like, he didn't do his get up properly, he got caught. That's fine. Alright? I think he would tune up Sergei if they rematched. But he tuned up Steven Peterson, like, quadrupled him on strikes. So I think he's a bit better. I think he can get quicker to the punch. I think he's more technical. And again, I'm going to rate a Brazilian fighter he's had a fight or two in the UFC, but also, like, I think in the level of competition on the Brazilian regional scene's higher than some of these European promotions who are just going to be, like, Bogdan Grad's fights. Like, I think his second to last win is, like, a 13-11 guy. Like, I'm saying all regional fighters are kind of bums, but I rate Brazil as a background for MMA more than being some random, not like even like London or France or something, but like just some random Eastern European guy. Or like Central European, Austria, right? I don't know. I just don't rate it. I think he'll look mid. Yeah, I don't know. I'll pick Alexander. Coin flip of a fight, though. I very well could start the night 0-2 on picks. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we got Mayra Bueno Silva. I'm going to be picking against her. I think Jasmine Jasudavicius is going to win this fight. She's on a bit of a streak, and I don't know, women's MMA, I value someone who can consistently get takedowns as a part of their game and do damage on top. Like, Jasudavicius is not one of these just NPC females. Like, they're all NPCs, let's be honest. Apart from Mackenzie Dern and the ones that have cake. If you don't have cake, you're an NPC in women's MMA, let's be honest. But I rate women who can actually get, like, takedowns consistently as a part of their game and do damage on top. Like, Jasudavicius fights with some intent. Like, she doesn't just wet blanket. Like, she does more damage on top than some male fighters. Not to say that she's better than them, but in terms of, like, aggression, there's some male fighters who will just wet blanket. She doesn't wet blanket typically. She actually does get on top and do damage. And we saw Mayra Bueno Silva lose her last fight because Macy Chiasson, a more physical woman, got on top of her and just started landing elbows, cut her open, got the fight stopped. I think Jasudavicius could do a similar thing. We've seen her get on top of Priscilla Cachoeira and just beat the fuck out of her. Now, do I think Bueno Silva's better than Cachoeira? Yes. But do I think Bueno Silva has a weakness to kind of a propensity to staying on her back and risking getting subbed? Oh, no, sorry, not risking getting subbed. Staying on her back to try and get a submission off the bottom? I think she does that, and I think that doesn't fucking work unless you're just shit. Like, that will work if you're fighting, like, some random bum woman, like, I don't know, Juliana Miller or something, like that level of opponent where they'll just do dumb shit. But, like, Jasudavicius is a capable grappler. She's unironically the best Canadian fighter right now currently, which is a bad look for your country, honestly. Like, I mean, it's a close, like, you're competing for, like, your best Canadian fighter with Charles Jourdain, Eamon Zahabi, and fucking Jasmine Jasudavicius. Like, those, and, like, Mike Malott. Those are your four best fighters. So it's kind of washed. But I do think Jasudavicius have a significant grappling advantage. Bueno Silva's not a small woman either. Like, I think the weight cut will probably be bad. Don't be surprised if she misses weight at 125. So I'll pick Jasudavicius. I reckon she'll have some added. I reckon we'll see a weight miss from Bueno Silva. That's an early prediction. I reckon she'll weigh in at like 128. Jasudavicius will be pissed off. She'll take the fight, take like 30% of her purse, beat the fuck out of her. Because Cachoeira missed weight against Jasudavicius as well, and Jasudavicius fucking 30-25 her. So yeah, I reckon we'll see a similar level of performance. Let's move on though to the next fight. Next up, we got the modern day Frenchman, Fares Ziam, you know, Twigman himself, Twigman Ziam. I was shitting on this dude until his last fight against Favola. Like, he was fighting Favola, I'm like, careful mate, you don't want to get TKO'd by a gust of wind, might fucking blow him out the cage, because this dude's coming in looking like he's, I'm seeing some advertisement on my screen for like, this child has to walk 5 miles a day just to get clean water, or just to get dirty. Like, that's Fares Ziam is the type of fucking build that I see on the television when I'm seeing these fucking UNICEF ads, right? And so I'm like, yeah, there's no way this dude's beating Favola. Favola KO'd Dobski. KO'd the fucking chin of the West, the fire hydrant chin of the West, Drew Dober, right? And he got in some early trouble against Favola, you know, he was in a guillotine early. Favola was doing some stuff, kind of using his physicality, and then as the fight went on, Ziam just like picked him apart and just started putting on a fucking masterclass, and then literally killed him. Like, I was watching this on stream at like 5 a.m. Australia time because it was in France. I was watching it on stream, and I was genuinely like, he might be dead. Like, before that Chinese bitch KO'd that other Chinese bitch, and we're like, okay, she's actually might be dead. Like, I genuinely, for about 2.5 minutes, thought Matt Frevola had died. Because he got fucking kneed in the head, like, killed. Like, his chin, mate, fucking, I'll bounce your head off the canvas here. Like, his head got bounced off the canvas. And then Ziam, like, fucking drilled his fist into his chin while he's on the ground, like, dead as well. So that was nasty. But he looked great. And if he turns up like that, like, I'm saying, if that's how he fights when he's in France, only book this dude in France. Because his fight before that, he went to a fucking split decision with Claudio Puelles. So it's a 50-50 fight based on, like, do we get Puelles Ziam or do we get Frevola Ziam? And if we get Frevola Ziam, I think he's going to tune up Mike Davis on the feet and win a decision. I don't think he'll finish Mike Davis. Mike Davis is tricky. He's a lot more defensively sound than Frevola. I think he's an even better grappler than Frevola. So could I see him just out physicalitying Ziam? Yes. But do I think Davis is consistent? No. He ain't fighting that much. He's fighting, like, he's taking, like, 2-year gaps between fights. At least he's fighting, returning. But, like, he was supposed to fight Dober, and he pulled out due to, I think it was an injury. I forgot what the injury was. It was a relatively bad injury. Obviously, he's had a lot of time since then. I do think it's competitive, but, like, Mike Davis opened at, like, minus 250. It's now, like, he's, like, now, like, plus 150. Or he's now, like, minus 150, minus 160. Alright? Minus 170. But the odds have significantly decreased, and I think that's because people kind of realise, like, Mike Davis is very good, but he's inconsistent. Like, he lost to Sadiq Youssef on the Contender Series, got subbed by Burns. That's not a bad look. Could I see Ziam getting a finish? Potentially. I don't think Davis is, like, a chinny guy, though. Like, I don't know how... Did he get subbed or did he get finished by Burns? TK? I don't remember. But I don't think Davis is chinny by any means, but I just think Ziam's got the range, he's got the reach, he's got the long, lanky physique to cause Davis problems. And I don't know, I reckon he can just trouble him to a decision. And again, he looks like he's more from the region. He probably speaks some Arabic, I'm assuming. They speak Arabic in Algeria. Yeah, he's Algerian at descent. So maybe, I don't know what his background is in terms of, like, how old he was when he got to France. Maybe he was born there, maybe he speaks no Arabic. But I don't know, they'll probably see a dude that looks kind of inbred and just be like, yes, brother, he's one of us. We give you to fight 30-27. So I don't know. I do think he will win, though. This is not me saying, like, oh, he'll win a robbery. Like, I think if it's close, it'll go to him. And especially when a lot of these rangy guys fight, they get given... It's not even just a thing with, like, region bias judging. Like, when these rangy guys fight, the judges love range fighting, and they love looking like, oh, look at him, he's using feints on the outside, and he's putting a jab out there that isn't landing. Like, the judges will cream their fucking pants over that, so I reckon Ziam's going to win a decision. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up, Terrence McKinney versus Damir Hadzovic. I'm adding a new thing into these prediction videos. You can see down there, you've probably been looking at it. There you go, that's my 2024 prediction rate, by the way, 66%, not too bad. So far this year, 63% after 2 cards. It is what it is, you know, there was some upsets last week. Rinya and Talbot both lost. But obviously, when there's been fuck all fights, like, each fight's going to be worth, like, 5%. But, anyway, lock predictions, I'm starting these now, are above 70% confidence. And I'm going to have I'm not going to have those for the first 2 weeks, even though I probably would have had a few of them that would have lost. Obviously, Talbot and Rinya. But we're starting it now. Lock predictions. McKinney is my first lock prediction. And I know having McKinney as a lock, if you're being like, oh, I would bet a lot of money on this guy to win, then it's not so much bet money on him, but it's more like, if I had to give you, like, my most confident pick on the card, it's probably either McKinney or it's going to be one of the other two that I'll reveal later. But I'm very confident McKinney wins. He's just a levels ahead striker, and I don't think, like, bro, Hadzovic didn't fight last year. His fight before that, he lost. His fight before that, he beat fucking Yancy Medeiros. You know, he got subbed by Moicano in the viral, then you shouldn't have submitted me moments. But apart from that, like, McKinney's just going to KO him. McKinney, this is the McKinney pathway. He loses to Bonfim, Sadikov, these kind of guys, right? Dober, these level. Damir Hadzovic is not a Dober or a Bonfim or a Ribovic. Damir's a fucking Brendan Marotte or a Mike Breeden that's going to get ran over and KO'd in a round. That's my call. Anyway, let's move on to the next fight. Next up, we got the Blob, Shamil the Blob Gaziev from Big Meaty Hooks. He's fighting Peter Griffin, aka Thomas Peterson. This is a Hall of Fame cholesterol matchup right here, boys. Looking forward to this one. Honestly, Shamil Gaziev's a pay-per-view draw. Like, just the memes from, like, Lucas and everyone making fun of him, and, like, Guru's reaction to the Rosenstrike fight got, like, I saw, like, 100,000 views on some, like, Guru clip channel. Like, people know Gaziev. Gaziev is like actually borderline like a hardcore fan's knowledge thing. No, sorry, that would mean it's like intricate. Like he's borderline like a casual fans, like semi-casual fans know Gaziev. Like there's like the tier 1 hardcores like myself, like the actual people that like know all the matchups that'll be like, oh, that's a banger early prelim fight right there between fucking unranked like number 47 ranked lightweight or some shit. Like we're like, oh, that's a sick fight. That's like tier 1 hardcores, but like tier 2 or tier 3, it's like getting into that. That's where Gaziev is starting to get known. Like those tier 3 hardcore or tier 3 like mid hardcore casuals that'll probably watch like the prelims of the pay-per-views and the main cards of like Apex Fight Nights, but they don't watch quite everything. Those are the ones. They know Shamil Gaziev. They know the blob. They know the lore of Bahrain's best volleyball player, you know? Volleyball turned MMA legend, right? They know the story. And I reckon Shamil Gaziev, I've got him as a lock. I'm locking up Gaziev, just like Gaziev's locking up the fucking cookie jar, you know? He's locking up the KFC bucket. This dude is on smoke. If someone brings a kebab to the fight, God forbid, he is going to KO Thomas Peterson in the first round and steal that kebab from whoever's that poor soul is in the crowd, right? So I'm picking Gaziev, and I think he can overwhelm and get a TKO. Because we're looking at the level of opposition, and we see Martin Badai, he gets stopped. Gaziev stops him, right? Rosenstrike, that's the level that beat him. Don'Tale Mays, that was just a rebound for Gaziev to show his elite cardio, for him to really just like push a pace in a fight and show that he really can go long in fights. He could have pushed another 5 rounds of that pace if he wanted to. But I think Thomas Peterson's the level that he'll get overwhelmed and stopped. This dude, not in the UFC. His UFC's only loss is Jamal Pogues, I do believe. He lost to Jamal Pogues. He beat Mo Usman, I believe. But regional scene, this dude got stopped by TKO'd in the first round by Waldo Cortez Acosta. I reckon Waldo Cortez and Gaziev are on a pretty similar level. Gaziev does have some wrestling, so I don't think Peterson, whose only real game is to get on top, I don't think he's going to be able to take down Gaziev. Gaziev's big, he's a heavy bloke, you know, he's a absolute tub of lard in there. So I reckon he can get Peterson out of there, stop him early, stunning. He's got some pop, Gaziev. He's got some power on the feet. So I reckon we see a Shamil the Meal Deal Gaziev TKO. Anyway, let's move on up the card. Next up, we got Khan Offley versus Muhammad Naimov. Khan Offley, I'm tempted to pick him just for the fact that his fighter nickname is Genghis. He should have put it the other way around there. It's going to be read out as Khan Genghis Offley. They should read it out as Genghis Khan Offley. I'd get around that. Maybe that's what they do, I'm not sure, but that's just what it says on his shirt dog. But if he gets called out as Genghis Khan Offley, I might have to change my pick. But no, I will be picking Naimov. He lost to Felipe Lima. Real ones know, real hard, like D1 hardcore fans know that Felipe Lima is a future top 5 guy, top 10 at least. He's a problem, right? Felipe Lima's a savage. But people forget, man, he lost to Felipe Lima. Felipe Lima's a monster. But no, Naimov, he did chin Jamie Malaki. He did beat Nathaniel Wood. I rate that. I rate that a lot more than fucking Khan Offley getting chinned by Myron Santos, and apart from that, being just a mid fucking NPC tough fighter. Like, okay, I'm not picking you because you fucking train at CKB. Gone are the days where any fighter can just come in and Israel Adesanya just says, this man's the best kickboxer I've ever seen. He tunes me up in sparring, just completely lying out of his teeth. And then the guy proceeds to be Blood Diamond and loses 4 UFC fights. Like, this is not all. It's the same with Dagestan. Not all Dagestanis are good. Not all CKB guys are good. There's a whole lot of CKB bums. Whole lot of great CKB fighters. Khan Offley ain't one of them. Khan Offley's a bum. Maybe he's not a bum. Maybe he has a good rebound from his tough loss. Myron Santos, I do rate. I do think Myron Santos is good, but like, he didn't even look good in that fight. Like, it's not like Santos. And Myron Santos is not some generational prospect, fucking Olympic or fucking Muay Thai champion or some shit. Like, he's just a good fighter out of Brazil. Like, he'll be a good fighter, maybe crack the rankings. But Khan Offley's mid. He's a bum. Who cares? He's going to lose. Naimov, I could see him getting a stoppage because he does have finishing power, and I do think he's going to just be way bigger than Khan Offley as well. But because like he fought Malaki and didn't look that undersized at lightweight. So it would not surprise me to see him finish him here, but I'll pick Naimov either way as a lock. Let's move on though to the next fight. Next up, we got Khabib versus Charles at home. You know, Said Nurmagomedov versus Vinicius Oliveira. But no, this is going to be better than Khabib versus Charles at home, because this is going to be a striking matchup. This is going to be on the feet, badass fight. Let me tell you about this kid. Per sources, this is going to be Dana White's If You Don't Know Now, You Know. alongside Shamil Gassian. No, but this fight's going to be sick, and I love this matchup. I'm a D1 Vinicius Oliveira Glazer, I can't lie. I picked this dude to beat Ricky Simon. It's like a plus 200 underdog. I bet on him by decision as well. He cashed that shit for me. I've loved him ever since, pause. But, no homo. But, like, semi-homo. No. No, but Vinicius Oliveira, this guy's nasty. Let me tell you about this kid, Vinicius Oliveira. The reason why I'm going to pick him, and it is, again, a factor of, like, maybe Saeed's just going to get a robbery decision, but he didn't look that good against Martinez. Like, he looks good in round 1, but, like, Martinez is pushing a fucking pace on you in the 3rd round. And we see Martinez now lose back-to-back fights to Aldo, which is, that's allowed. And then Marcus McGee, where he showed some fucking abysmal fight IQ, where he literally had McGee's legs gone from under him, and he just proceeds to not actually throw leg kicks. Or he starts trying to punch him, or he starts throwing more leg kicks instead of like throwing head kicks. It's just weird. I don't know what the fuck this guy's doing. I picked McGee there, right? So I was happy to get my pick right, but like he should have been TKO'd in the 3rd. And Martinez is just abysmal, and he looked shit in the first 2 rounds. And Martinez is a guy who just appears to sort of get caught up in the bright lights and not look that good in moments. Saeed has not fought in about 15 months coming up when this fight happens. His last fight was October of 2023. His last fight was on the Volk Islam card, the CGI card, where he subbed Muin the Mole Gafarov. And yes, you can say, Muin Gafarov beat Rinya Nakamura. Rinya Nakamura didn't fucking wrestle for 2 rounds. I don't care. That's not impressive. Okay, cool. You outstruck Rinya Nakamura. Awesome. Rinya's not a fucking striker. He's a grappler that didn't shoot takedowns. But I do think Vinicius can do well here, and I do think he can push a pace, because I think if both of them fight, if Vinicius fights at the output he fought Ricky Simon at, and Saeed fights at that too, I think Vinicius can win the later rounds. I could see Saeed win in the 1st. I could see it being competitive. I think it'll be a split. I think it'll end up being a split decision that's clear for Vinicius Oliveira. Like, I think people are going to hear split. People are going to hear, like, Judge Abdul Rahman scores the contest. 29-28 in the market. Everyone's going to be like, oh my god. And we're going to be praying that he doesn't get robbed. Vinicius, that is. But I do think he'll do better. I do think he's got the power advantage on the feet. Maybe Saeed subs him. But his takedown defense, although it looked mid against Sapaj is actually pretty solid. And also, his takedown defense looked way better against Simone. Sapaj was a short notice opponent. He was preparing to fight fucking Giannis the Bum Gamora. He would have slept him in the 1st. Instead, he gets Sapaj KOs him in the 3rd after a back and forth fight, but showed grit, showed cardio, showed the ability to sort of push through, get out grappled a bit early, come back late, put the pace on him, and he fucking broke and gassed out Sapaj badly. KO'd him, stiff, out cold, flying knee against the fence, right? And Simone, he tuned up Ricky Simone, and I don't care even if Ricky Simone's mid. Like, would Saeed beat Ricky Simone? Probably. But would he style on him and tune him up for all 3? I don't know. Like, he had, like, no moments in that fight, apart from, like, one low kick that hurt Oliveira. That one, like, checked kick that hurt Oliveira's shin. So, I think Oliveira can do well here. I think he's got more pop on the feet. I think the speed will be Saeed early, but I don't think he holds that speed for that long. He is, like, the Zabit. He's the Timu Zabit of bantamweight. Like, he really doesn't. He's quick early. He's dangerous. He can throw some snapping kicks. He can finish Cody Stamann in a round. Congrats, Cody Stamann. Absolute fucking bantamweight legend right there. But I don't know if he can hold that pace up for 3, and I think Vinicius can put a bit of pressure on him later on. And again, coming off a while off, he's had a bunch of fight cancellations too, Saeed. So I don't know. I reckon Vinicius will get him. Plus, I just like Oliveira, so I want him to win. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. This is racism. Sergei Pavlovich is going to KO Jairzinho Rozenstruik. You want to know why? Because he's black. Sorry. No, but Sergei Pavlovich is a great. I'd love to fight him. But I do think he's going to beat Rozenstruik. I think he's going to beat Biggie Boy. Because I think Biggie Boy has a tendency to not beat elite fighters. And I think Pavlovich has a tendency to beat melanated fighters. That's what it comes down to here, you know. Even if Rozenstruik was the most decorated fighter in the sport's history. Like, I'd pick Pavlovich to beat John Jones. I don't know about you guys. He's racist, and that works in MMA. Racism is the best motivational base for MMA. It's more motivational than titles. It's more motivational than anything. And that's why he lost to Aspinall. That's why he lost to Volkov. If they were black, he would have beaten them. It wouldn't have mattered about their technical advantages or power advantage or speed advantage. He would have beat them. So, I think he's going to KO Rozenstruik in the 1st round, get him out of there, and we're going to see prime KKK Pavlovich back in full force, and then he's going to be looking for a fight with Jamal Hill. No, but Rosenstrike, right? Like, people be like, oh, but he tuned up Tai Tuivasa. Like, congratulations, buddy. You tuned up Tai Tuivasa. You want Pavlovich to Tai Tuivasa? Got him out of there. Round 1. 55 seconds. Flat. Finished him. Badly. Had Tai looking like he'd just been fucking shot in the face after 1 minute of fighting. You know? Tai Tuivasa, although he clearly didn't beat Rosenstrike, it was, you know, I reckon he could have won that. No. But, like, he got a split scorecard 30-27 his way, which was retarded. But look at Rosenstrike wins, right? Shamil Blob Gaziev, that was a slipped on a banana peel. You know, he didn't realize they were fighting at sea level. You know, he thought it was going to be like lower altitude than that. So otherwise, his cardio would have been fine. But he beat Gaziev. He beat Tai the Blob Tuivasa on his 5th fucking loss in his losing streak. He beat Chris Daukaus, who is the reverse of Sergei Pavlovich, right? And then before that, you know, he beat Reem. That's cool. He beat Wash JDS. But like Pavlovich, Blades. People forget, man. He beat Curtis Blades. Blades, Lewis, Tai, Shamil Abdurrahimov. You know, before there was Shamil Gaziev, there was Shamil Abdurrahimov. Let me tell you about this kid. But I think Pavlovich is getting him out of there. He's got like a 6-inch reach advantage. And again, I think that you need either speed, which I don't think it's going to be a major speed discrepancy. Like, I think like Tai and Rosenstrike's a bit faster than Tai. Pavlovich is way faster than Tai, and he's more powerful, and he's more aggressive, and he's better technically. He's got better defense than Tai. You either need speed like Aspinall to just catch him and like power, or you need Volkov's range, and you need technique to keep him on the outside. I don't think Rosenstrike is just going to be able to fucking dance around him on the feet for 3 rounds. And I don't think Rosenstrike's just some absolute cardio monster at heavyweight to push a pace on him and get him out of there late. So, I don't know. I reckon Pavlovich gets it done. Stoppage. And racism returns in the heavyweight division. Let's move on, though, to the next fight. Next up, we got Michael Venom Page versus Shara Magomedov. You know, Michael Page, normally I would be like, alright, clear cut. MVP's levels ahead of him on the feet. But Shara's going to get a robbery decision because he's Muslim and MVP's not. But MVP did the intelligent thing of becoming Muslim. Alhamdulillah. So he's going to maybe not get robbed. But ultimately, I do think if it is close, it is more likely to go to Shara, which is why I was tempted to pick him. But my initial lean was MVP, and I'm going to stop going against my initial leans. Because anytime I go against my initial lean, it always ends up being dumb. Anytime I end up being like, I don't know, man. I really think Shara can tune him up on the feet. Then he just gets fucking starched in the first. So I'm always just stick with my initial lean. That's why I don't fucking watch tape. You know, I'm not breaking down the fucking outside foot battle. I'm not breaking down the striking masterclass, striking technicalities of each guy. I don't care. I'm sorry. I went back and watched Shara against Petrosian. He looked solid, but mid. Like, I think lighter man skill, that's a real thing. People forget, man. You're coming up from welterweight. These guys are way better. I'm just going to list off mid-welterweights that had fucking levels of success at middleweight. Sean Strickland, Robert Whittaker, Kelvin Gastelum, kind of. He fought for an interim belt, to be fair. I'm pretty sure Vittori was a welterweight. There's more that I'm forgetting, but trust me, guys. Michelle Pereira. Like, these guys move up and just have levels more success at middleweight. I think that's a real thing. MVP is going to be way quicker than Shara. I do think so. I bring you this because I think MVP is going to just dance rings around him and be quicker on the feet and just be in and out. Maybe he's washed. Maybe he gets caught on the feet and it's just plot armor. Shara wins. Because, like, again, minus 200 favorite. Is this just Dagestani bias? Or is this genuinely the odds makers knowing something that we don't? Or is this just them being like, oh, MVP is going to be undersized? Like, Shara, I doubt grapples. Maybe he does. But even MVP shooting a takedown probably wouldn't even be a bad idea. But I don't know. I think it will be a close fight. I think all of the rounds will be competitive. So I could see like a 29-28 either side. And then like a descending scorecard of like a 30-27 that everyone's like, how the fuck was that 30-27? I think it will be close. I back MVP. I think he's quicker. I think he even has more popper with the hands. Like, it took Shara like 17 fucking punches on the feet to standing TKO Antonio Tricoli. Like, this dude couldn't finish Mikhail Alexejczyk. He couldn't fucking finish Bruno Silva, who is pretty durable, to be fair. But, like, you're looking mid against Bruno Silva. You're looking mid against Tricoli. You're looking mid against Alexejczyk. You looked solid against Petrosian. You got the KO, cool. Chosen was doing work with the kicks and stuff. I think MVP can land good low kicks. I think he can land up top. I think he can look pretty good here. And ultimately, I think he's the better striker. Accolades-wise, I don't know, I rate him. I think he's looked better in the UFC against higher-level opposition. Like, Kevin Holland might be a salty, fucking coping fighter who doesn't know what he's doing with his career. But he does know what a 45-7 is. Let me tell you something about this kid, Kevin Holland. He knows what a 45-7 is. Does Sharon Magomedov know what a 45-7 is? I don't think so. Although, that being said, he did post a video on his fucking Instagram, like a mock video of him, like, loading a shotgun with some mock dead black guy on the ground. So, like, respectable. I can rate that as promotion from Shara. But, I don't know. I think MVP's better. Ian Gary and Kevin Holland are better than anyone on the feet that Shara's beat. I think that's just undeniable. So, I'll pick MVP to win. Might regret it. We'll see. But I've been waiting to pick against Shara. This is the time to do it. If it's not now, it's probably the fight after this when he fights anyone better. Anyone with grappling, I will be picking against him. I just don't think he's that good. Let's move on, though, to the main event. Nassourdine Imavov versus Israel Adesanya. Botched. I don't know. Easy, Jizzy. I'm picking against him. I've been on the train of Imavov's going to beat him. I've been on the train of Izzy's digressing. He's not at his best. And this is not like DDP, because people think he looked good against DDP. I think that was his best performance. I genuinely think he looked better against Dricus than he did against Pereira. Hot take. I think his striking looked better against Dricus and more sharp. Obviously, he ended up getting the KO against Pereira, so you can say that's a dumb take. But I think this is that DDP fight was the best we've seen Izzy since the Whitaker first fight. I don't think it's not ridiculous, or since the Costa fight. It's not ridiculous. It's not ridiculous to say that. I think Izzy looked great in that fight, but I think that was a one-off. I think that was like a most motivated Adesanya's ever fucking been. He wants to beat Dricus' ass. He wants to send him back to Africa. Or I'll drag your carcass across the lands of South Africa. Why am I mixing a fucking Izzy with a Dricus accent? I'm not sure, but botched. I do think Imavov wins. I think Imavov's just more well-rounded. He's got the tools to get it done if he fights smart. If he has an ego, which I'm worried Imavov does, but I'm very glad this fight is not in France. If this fight was in France, I would genuinely pick Izzy probably to KO him, because Imavov would just be retarded and only strike and then leave himself open. Because Imavov fights dumb as fuck in France. He fights with an ego. He plays to the crowd. It's entertaining. Watch what he did against Buckley. He almost got a fucking point taken away. And then against Allen, he looked kind of mid at moments and kind of thinks he's doing more than he is. And he tries to play to the crowd and he feels a bit cocky. He feels pretty confident with himself, which I like. I like having a bit of arrogance. But against Izzy, you can't have too much arrogance. I like not caring and not like letting Izzy walk him. Because I think the way Imavov thinks, I think his mentality, the mentality of Nassourdine Imavov, I don't think he's going to walk down. I don't think he's going to back up like a fucking Jared Cannonier or like a Marvin Vettori or even like a Whitaker in the rematch a little bit and just kind of get gun, or like a Costa and just be gun shy and let himself get leg kick to range. I also don't think Izzy as the champion has that same level of like the contenders coming and be like, fuck, how do I beat this guy? He's going to knock me out. I can't strike with him. I think Imavov's seen Izzy look mid on the feet. I think he's seen Strickland walk him down. And then he's realised that he himself had a competitive fight with Sean Strickland where he looked better than Izzy did. Right? That's a real thing. He won the round. He won round 5 against Strickland in the pocket, boxing, not even like at range where he's best, not even on the outside with his good movement and stuff. Strickland kind of walked him down like he does to everyone. Plus, that was in the Apex. I think if that fight's in a big cage, it's a lot more competitive. And I actually think Imavov's not a bad matchup to beat Strickland. I would probably still pick Strickland, but I think Imavov does have a good style to do it. But watch Imavov in that fight. He was good in the pocket. I think Imavov's got the hand speed advantage. I think he's quicker in the pocket than Izzy. I think maybe Izzy's a bit crisper. Maybe he's got those hooks in the pocket. He's got the KO potential. Do I think Imavov's going to KO Izzy? No, I don't think so. I could see it happening. I could see Izzy doing what he did against Strickland, getting backed up, getting caught. I could see trying to like throw hooks and trying to clip farm and shit, and getting himself caught, because he does kind of, all those CKB guys do sort of raise their chins in the pocket. Could see him out of landing a clean 1-2, wobbling him, because he has speed. And even if you're not the hardest hitter, like Imavov is not like a pure like power puncher hard hitter. He's got speed, and you see with guys like, I'm not going to say that he hits as hard as Aspinall, but it's a similar concept. When you can hit someone with a quick 1-2, like you hit them with like 2 punches in the space that they only see the one, that second one catches you off guard, that second one rocks you, wobbles you, that can put you down. I could see Mavov putting down, I'm talking like fucking Dan Hardy, I'm talking like Luke Thomas, like doing some fucking analytical war room breakdown here, but like, I don't know, I think on the feet, it's a more dangerous fight for Izzy than I think people realise. I don't think Izzy's KOing Mavov. I said this in my main event predictions video that I did yesterday. I haven't really seen Mavov hurt by anyone recently. Cannonier didn't hurt him. Strickland didn't hurt him. Allen didn't hurt him. Like, Allen landed, like, there's that photo of his face looking the other way, looking goofy as hell after Allen kneed him in the dome. He still didn't get put down by that. He didn't get wobbled. He didn't get rocked. And that was when he was gassed because Allen grappled the fuck out of him. Izzy's not going to grapple him. When Mavov gets offensively wrestled, that's when he gets tired. Also, him in Paris, I think he expends a lot of energy kind of doing his whole shtick and like being a bit goofy, alright? I don't think he expends that same energy here. He looked good in the later rounds against Cannonier. He was coming into that fight, and even though the stoppage was early, I'm very confident he would have won that. Against Dolidze, I'm not saying Dolidze's comparable to Izzy in any way, but he put a pace on him. When Mavov's able to fight at his own range on the feet and not get clinched up and not get worn on physically, he stays fresh. He beat the fucking, almost finished Dolidze in round 1, beat the fuck out of him. Round 2, 3, 4, like, he almost KO'd him again in round 3 with a head kick, which was deemed illegal, even though it shouldn't have been. And that wouldn't be considered illegal with the new rules now. But he held up a good pace. The only time when he slowed down was when Dolidze just held him against the cage. Izzy ain't going to hold him against the cage. Izzy's going to be on the outside, trying to throw individual leg kicks. Izzy's going to be throwing single strikes. Izzy ain't going to be pressuring him back, landing combinations. Maybe he snipes him to the body and stuff. But I think Mavov, if they're on the outside, they're both at range. Izzy's going to have a bit of a reach advantage, I imagine. That could be a problem. But Mavov's throwing multiple shots. Mavov, I feel like, is going to look more effective to the judges. Izzy's going to be throwing low kicks. Izzy's going to be maybe outlanding him. But Mavov's going to be more active, I think, if he fights smart. I haven't talked about the grappling. Grappling-wise, he can cause Izzy problems. Izzy's takedown defense, it's not bad, but it's also not elite. Like, this is not Jose Aldo takedown defense, where it's like, oh, fat chance of Mavov gets him to the ground. And Mavov could get him to the ground, and if he does, he's in trouble. This guy got on top of Brendan Allen, beat the fuck out of him in round 2, basically, like, dominated round 2 purely on the ground. We didn't really see the striking of Mavov, like, at its best in that fight, because it was basically all grappling, and the striking exchanges were after grappling when he was tired. But he beat the fuck out of Brendan Allen, who subbed Paul Craig and subbed Muniz on the ground. Allen is a legit grappler. Allen took the back of Chris Curtis and took Chris Curtis down, who's historically got great takedown defense. And Mavov got him down, beat the fuck out of him on the ground, almost subbed him at moments. I think Adesanya gives up his back. We've seen it against Vettori, we've seen it against Whitaker in the rematch, we've seen it against Dricus. He's open to getting dominated on the ground. He's open to getting put in bad positions, open to getting ground and pounded, open to getting submitted. I think Mavov can cause problems there. I think he can get it done. I think he's just too good everywhere. I don't think he's a much better striker than Izzy, but I think if they purely strike, it's a close fight, probably 48-47 Adesanya. I'll say that. But even with like Mavov still has potential to win there. But if he mixes in grappling effectively and doesn't gas, if his gas tank holds up, which I think it should, I reckon he can beat Izzy. So I'm picking Nasruddin Mavov, 48-47. Maybe we see a 49-46 decision. And he really shows out here and impresses and looks to get a title shot later in the year, hopefully. Anyway, some quick bets as well. I'm not even going to read all these out because the lines for half the props and shit aren't out yet. Again, this is not financial advice, my brother. But if you want to put some money down, I like those dogs. Mavov, Page, Oliveira, Ziam. Those are all good underdogs. The price on Oliveira and Ziam have come down. They were both like plus 200, which would have been way better. Lock parlay, I got the 3 locks, Naimov, Gaziev and McKinney. I think those guys are winning. Some props, I guess, Mavov decision, Page decision, Pavlovich KO, McKinney KO, these kind of ones. Jasuda Vicious, round 3, I could see her getting a late stoppage, all this kind of thing. But ultimately, those are the rest of the picks on screen. Those are the picks recap. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Who do you think is going to win this weekend? Let me know. I'll be live for the card at 2 a.m. Australia time, so tune in for that. And anyway, see you in the next one, and goodbye.